I don't know if you heard, but there's people like we're no better. We're no better than what's going on in Gaza. People need humanitarian help, and well, our people are believing in conspiracy theories and attacking the very people trying to help.
FEMA crews in North Carolina were forced to relocate due to a reported armed threat against government workers, a story first reported by the Washington Post. Nicole Skanga has more.
As the nearly 65,000 residents of hard-hit Rutherford County, North Carolina, struggle to clear endless mud and debris left behind by Hurricane Helene, help has hit a roadblock. Out of an abundance of caution, FEMA says instead of going door to door, disaster assistance teams there will be stationed at fixed locations, while the agency looks into alleged threats against their personnel. FEMA said.
So FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, maybe? I think it's agency or authority. I can't remember if it's authority or agency. I think it's agency. Usually federal government, they like the word agency more than authority. So FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, are the ones that we send in. It's like a task force when shit goes pear-shaped in the United States. So we sent them out there during these floods in North and South Carolina and Georgia, where Hurricane Milton hit. It was really horrible. Lots of people got nailed. Millions of people are still without power, and the FEMA usually they go out, they give people fresh water, they make sure there's help, basic shit. I shouldn't say basic. It's pretty heroic what these folks have to do, right? They go into these areas that are completely torn apart. Look at this place. This is just tragic. The dam broke in Asheville, North Carolina. Things are just absolutely it's just a tragedy. And this happens every once in a while. So we have FEMA to help. And FEMA has an interesting track record. But this time, it seems like they're doing okay. But because of people like Donald Trump throwing around crazy conspiracy theories, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that Democrats can control the weather, which I think is hilarious because forever they've been saying, Trump and MTG have both been saying that humans can't affect climate. But now they're saying that Democrats control the weather, and that's why these Republican areas mostly are being affected so dramatically by the recent climate chaos.
Says search and rescue is still underway and disaster recovery centers remain open. The move comes as the Washington Post reported an email by the U.S. Forestry Service to federal responders in Rutherford County, alerting them of an apparent stand down after National Guard troops reportedly encountered armed militia saying they were, quote, hunting FEMA.
Hunting FEMA. Hunting American heroes who are only there to try to give people some water and shit, some blankets, some dry. Yeah, it's like disaster aid. Yeah. America seems to suffer quite badly by the weather. Well, it's hotter out here. We've always had some pretty nasty weather. Plus, it's a big country. The fact that we have natural disasters shouldn't surprise anybody. It's a really big country. So, yeah, we're going to have some disasters.
This as false claims swirl online that the federal government planned to halt search and rescue efforts in order to seize and bulldoze Chimney Rock inside Rutherford County. It's one of many conspiracy theories that have prompted FEMA to create a page on its site discrediting rumors and false information about its response to Helene.
They stole the FEMA money just like they...
Sorry, I said Hurricane Helene, Milton, not Helene. Sorry, it's hard to keep them all straight. Hurricane Helene. Milton's the last one. This is Helene, the big one that hit. Yeah, so one of the conspiracy theories is that the government's trying to take Chimney Rock because there's lithium there, and we want to mine lithium. That's what we want to do, is to make sure that we can just bulldoze everything. So the people of the area are like, you ain't going to take no Chimney Rock, and they're hunting people. Imagine you can't get to. Does this remind you of anything? Does this remind you of maybe, I don't know, Hamas and Israeli settlers both attacking UN and American aid to the war-torn region of the Gaza Strip? Do you remember when that was happening and everyone was blaming everybody else. The people on the Hamas side are blaming the Israelis. The Israeli side is blaming the Hamas warlords. It turns out both were actually hindering the aid to the area. So, does this sound familiar that people get caught up in conspiracy theories and start biting the hand that feeds them? The very people trying to pull you out of the quicksand?
They stole it from a bank so they could give it to their illegal immigrants.
Former President Trump has repeatedly spread that debunked lie, though FEMA does.
How does a guy get on the news and be over and over, that's a debunked lie? There has been zero evidence of they stole the money like from a bank and they gave it to illegal immigrants. That's bonkers crazy coming from a guy who's supposed to be pro-America. Pro-America. That's oh, Donald J. Trump. That guy, I'm surprised the flag doesn't burst into flames every time he touches it, every time he fondles it like a creepy old uncle.
Sometimes provide grants to offset costs of migrant arrivals. The source of funding is separate from its pool for disaster relief.
We have
So weird. It's almost as if we voted to keep that money safe in case random shit happens because of what happened during Katrina. But don't let them fool you. Republicans vote over and over and over again to underfund FEMA because they need money for their rich bastard tax cuts. Rich bastard tax cuts cost money. And what do? They take it from poor people. How do you take it from poor people? You take away their entitlements. What are they entitled to? Basic safety, basic survival when disaster strikes. That's basically why the consent of the governed even is a thing. If you can't take care of your people when there's floods and fires, then you don't deserve to govern. And you don't deserve our consent.
individuals in need of assistance who are entitled to assistance who aren't seeking it because of the false information.
For CBS,
people are afraid to seek, they don't want to seek help because they're afraid that the government is going to take their land because of lies. And so people are threatening to kill FEMA. Like, every time I think it can't get crazier, it does. It just keeps getting worse. Oh, Bartleby, what do you think? Do you think the government is trying to take Chimney Rock for lithium reserves? Do you think that we should be hunting FEMA? What do you think, Bartleby? I want to know what you think. Or is this just the joke's on us? Oh, Bartleby. Oh, humanity.